Did you know 90% of global investors prioritize ESG principles? Ghana is contributing to the global ESG transformation with an ESG certification.
The environmental, social, and governance certification was created specifically for the banking and financial services sector.
We are able to train the participants to be able to identify what the risks are in their operations, how those risks can be mitigated, and then also know the opportunities in what they do.
Having gone through this 10 weeks program, it has revealed a whole lot to me. Risks that already sit with us. I would say that we're more like undercover, but the veil was lifted.
This has been an interesting program for me, and I think the program threw more light and gave a more understanding on how to apply those GRI standards within our reporting framework. So I think that was one of the useful tools for me.
It's an important time to roll out an ESG certification to equip professionals in the industry, because the banking sector plays a catalytic role in the ESG or the environmental climate-related issues. And as a country, we face quite a number, particularly if you look at it from Galamsey and the destruction of our water bodies.
By the end of this program, we would want the participants to be able to know how to mitigate what the environmental issues are, what the social issues are, and what the governance issues are in their operations as bankers or as businesses, and also the operations of their clients.
Ever since I finished, it's like a prompt. Anytime I'm going to make a decision, I just think about ESG. It's okay, is this compliant? Am I hurting the environment? Am I hurting other people within the ecosystem?
Learning from here and what the IFC as a DFI, for example, the expectations are, put me in a better position in terms of understanding how I can also position the bank to better deliver on the expectation of DFI.
If you want your business to live beyond this generation, you must embrace ESG. You could meet all the financial goals and your business will still not be sustainable. The environmental risks, social risks, and governance risks alone could collapse your business.
It broadened my knowledge, and also the networking opportunity was also great. It gave me insight into what the expectations of other industries are.
I'm proud to be part of the first cohort, and the learnings are enormous. It's a must attend for everyone who truly wants to see his business grow beyond this generation.
We encourage more professionals to come on board, because this program has been a hands-on, real-life experience.
At Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, our mandate is very simple, which is developing trusted professionals. We are moving from awareness to understanding and ultimately extracting value. And I'm really excited and looking forward to you joining the next cohort.
Shape your future, build a sustainable world. Enroll in the ESG certification program today. This program is developed by FCIB Ghana and the EPA in collaboration with IFC and funded by SECO.
So good evening to all of you and welcome to Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana. A conversation with Albert Essien. I would introduce him shortly. But just in case this is the first time you're having the opportunity to join us, Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana is mandated under the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana Act 2019, Act 991, to promote the study of banking, but also regulate the practice of the banking profession in Ghana. And people ask, what does that actually mean? It means developing trusted professionals for the financial service sector. It means putting ethics, professionalism, sustainability high on the agenda of banks and bankers. And certainly it means being the thought leadership engine and talent engine for our industry. And that is why we are having this conversation today. This is the maiden thought leadership event of the Institute for 2026. And we are delighted that members, fellows, and students alike can join us this evening. We are extremely grateful. The topic for conversation this evening with Albert Essien, is bridging the gap between qualification and relevance. Bridging the gap between qualification and relevance. Albert, you are welcome.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to actually have you this year. You look great, actually.
Well, thank you. I've retired. This is my 11th year.
Hey, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you must have a secret that you share with us today.
No, it's just that I'm myself.
No.
I'm myself. And I do what I want to do. When you are in the corporate world, sometimes you do things not out of the fact that you want to,
yeah,
but you have to. But retiring, you do what you want to do.
Someone said, someone's present is another person's future. I like this future for myself, which is doing what I like to do.
Yeah.
You know?
That is what I define retirement. Okay, you are your own boss, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. Albert, I'll come back to you shortly in terms of you telling us about your journey and yourself, and I will go into the deeper conversation around bridging the gap between qualification and relevance. For those online, would like you to maybe respond to the question that you are seeing on the screen right now, which on Mentimeter, which is the relevance of professional qualifications in the banking industry today, the way you see it from your perspective. So please, would kindly ask you to respond to the question on the screen right now. Those online, and I can see some people have started responding. If you go to menti.com, you'll be able to respond or scan the QR code that you are seeing, and you'll be able to respond to the question in terms of the relevance of professional qualifications in the banking industry today, the way you see it from your perspective. Okay, so we've seen 2 responses so far. I'm sure a lot more people are online. We'll be glad if you can share your thoughts with us. That would be extremely helpful. So I see moderately important or relevant, very relevant. I see extremely relevant. I would like more responses from those who are online. Okay, so what we are saying suggests that there's some relevance to professional qualification, and that banking is a profession, and therefore professional qualifications will be relevant. I think the next question is expectation for this evening. What do you want to hear from Albert? What is your primary expectation from today's conversation, time with CEO? Conversation on balancing the bridging the gap between relevance and qualification. Again, if you scan the QR code that's on your screen right now, you'll be able to provide your thoughts. So Albert, whilst we are waiting for that, it will be great. You know, I was having a conversation with some young people today. I said, I'm going to have a conversation with Albert this evening. Do you know Albert? And some said, oh, we've heard the name, but we don't know Albert in person. And they are currently online. They want to hear, who is Albert? What's your journey? What's your story? We know you as Group CEO, and you're a household name in the banking sector, not just in Ghana, but across Africa, as far as I know. But it'll be good to hear from yourself.
Well, I don't know where one wants to start, but you know, in my life, I've alternated between banking and teaching.
All right.
You know, I did my national service teaching
Okay.
at Infantipim. Then I moved on to Agriculture Development Bank.
ADB?
I did a stint at ADB. Then I left for Nigeria those days because I wanted money to go and read my master's outside.
Okay.
I had a half scholarship, and so I needed money to top it up. So I was in Nigeria for 4.5 years. And I couldn't save enough because those days Ghana was a bit tough.
Okay.
Being the first of 7 children, I had to make sure I helped in the house. So I had to come back when Nigeria lost all that attraction.
Yeah.
So I came back and I joined the National Investment Bank. And
NIB?
Yes, NIB. So I was quite fortunate to get a job at NIB. That time it was NIB, a very good bank, I should say so. And from there, I moved on to Ecobank and spent 25 years in Ecobank, moving from an officer and retiring as a group CEO. Very interesting journey.
It must be in a generation, 25 years.
Yes, I stayed there for 25 years.
That's impressive. You must be a very loyal person.
It
What did
was
Ecobank
not-
offer?
You see, yes, you might say I was loyal, but not blind loyalty.
Okay,
It was the opportunities that I had at Ecobank.
sure.
And I used to tell everybody that within a space of between 3 to 5 years, my role changed. So it was exciting. Okay, went in as a relationship officer, became the manager for corporate bank, moved into risk management, was the first country risk manager for the bank, moved into general management as a deputy managing director, then a regional director,
Okay,
which moved me into another realm,
sure.
where apart from supervising countries, I also had the chance to create posts for the bank. So I opened Sierra Leone, I opened Gambia, I supervised Guinea-Conakry, I supervised Ghana. At that time, I supervised Liberia. Then I was moved to the East and South.
East Africa?
Okay?
Eastern
Yes,
Africa and Southern Africa.
to also plant flags there. So I did that in Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, then down south, Malawi, okay, Zambia, South Africa as a rep office. So it was exciting. It was exciting. Then moved from geography, I moved to products as the head of corporate and investment bank
For the group.
for the group. Okay.
That must be big, huge.
Yeah, it was very exciting. So there, I supervised their international business. Okay, they had a rep office in London. They had actually a branch, an operational branch in Paris, France. Then I opened the Dubai rep office, opened the China rep office. Okay. Then in the twilight of my career, I was thrust into the role of the group CEO.
That's
So that is why I stuck.
Yeah.
It gave me
Lots of
opportunities
opportunities.
to grow and to do different things. And it was quite a great feeling.
No, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad there must be a lot of opportunities, but you must also then measure up to those opportunities.
Yes. So you need to make sure that you get it right. So you have to work hard. You have to read. You have to learn.
Too. Yeah.
It's continuous learning. And that's why I talk about relevance. you know.
Yeah.
Because if you are relevant, then you get those opportunities.
Sure.
So that is what it is.
That's interesting. You've touched on learning to maintain a certain relevance. I'm told that being current is the currency of life, really.
Yes.
And so, but are there some personal philosophies, maybe values that you picked very, very early that helped you through the journey?
Yes. It's all about character building. What I call character building.
Character building.
Yes, I think to make it on the corporate ladder, you need to have a certain character. That's what I believe, It doesn't just come by fluke, So you need some personal ethos,
Yeah.
discipline. Okay, you need focus. You need humility. It's important. You need integrity. Okay, so you need this ethos to make you succeed in the corporate world. Okay. And my father was a stickler for discipline.
Was he a teacher?
Yeah. No, my father worked for GNTC those days.
Okay.
He was a salesman, and but my father believed in continuous self-improvement.
Continuous
So,
self-improvement.
yeah, my father used to learn a lot. He didn't go to the secondary school, neither did he go to the university. But he rose in the ranks of the salesman job from Kingsway to GNTC. But it was because of his character, okay, the discipline, work ethics.
Yeah.
He believed that when you are working, you are working. Okay, that's Mr. Essien, senior. Okay, integrity.
Integrity.
Then humility and continuous learning.
That's
We call continuous professional development.
CPD.
I'll put it that way.
That's interesting. So I've always worked out that character more from ethics and integrity perspective is important. To that, if you add to that would be competence, right? So
Yes.
character is important, but
Yes.
competence also, and
Exactly.
conduct must be important.
Exactly.
Because I'm told banking is based on trust, and these are the drivers of trust. Is that something you subscribe to?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think I do subscribe to that. Yes. The discipline. That's why I put it all in the envelope.
discipline. Yeah.
You need to have that discipline. Okay, and people should know you for that.
Yeah.
Your word is your word. You do it, you will not do it, you do it. This is how you think it can be done. So there's flexibility. Okay, as to you do it, this is how it can be done.
Yeah.
But your word should be it. And it's very important to stick to that.
At the group level, senior level, I'm sure some of these things you can influence. But for those young bankers who are starting their banking career, maybe they have some personal values, family, character, and things that come into conflict with what they face on day-to-day basis. How do you balance that? And have you faced that?
In
your journey?
Ecobank, I had a group of young people that I used to interact with.
Okay.
I always loved to interact with the young ones. I think that's how you influence character, by that engagement. We used to share material, have a business review, Daily Mail, Financial Times. Okay, we used to share, we used to discuss. And, I also used to teach for between 7:30 and 8:30 every morning, especially when I got into the role of the country risk manager.
Okay.
I will always teach.
So you were
Even
the
when
teacher
I
in the
was
bank?
managing director, I would teach.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I have this cohort of people, and anybody could join. Okay, and for most of them, they really moved up to certain key positions in the bank and beyond. In fact, when I moved to East and South Africa, they were my disciples that I used in making sure that I will succeed, and they also got along. So it's about engaging them and influencing them in a positive way. That is how we can bring up the young.
That's interesting. And so for you, success means, developing others and getting them up to where.
Absolutely. I think that when people can look up to you, okay, and say that you are part of their development, it's very fulfilling. And you talk of loyalty.
Yeah.
if you engage them that way, they will definitely look up to you. And if that is loyalty, then that is what it is.
Thank you very much for sharing this with us, Albert. We are delighted that you could share this moment with us, sharing your thoughts and your experiences. I want to go to your early career decisions and choices. Yes, we know you as Albert, the group CEO, Albert, the one who shaped the future of Ecobank from different geographies. But were there some early career choices that you made or decisions that you made that paid off in the end?
I think I loved to teach. And initially, I always thought I would be a university lecturer. But that was why I was chasing to read my master's. Okay. I never thought I would be a banker. Okay. I always loved to be a lecturer in the university. I love teaching. So during the national service, I thought. But then I got an offer from ADB, post-national service. And I thought, well, this money is good. So at that time, I had not thought of banking as a career. I went in because the money was good. Because I got to realize that teaching in the secondary school didn't really earn you that much. Okay? So I went into ADB, but when I had the chance to move out to look for money, to actually get a master's degree going, I took that opportunity. And there too, I taught. So I was a teacher, okay, in the secondary school. Coming back, after not getting that much money, I was fortunate, I use the word fortunate, to get back into banking. And then I decided that I will have to actually pursue that
banking career.
And then NIB was a very good place as a good foundation for a young banker at that time, because there was a lot of tuition in NIB as a project officer. But I really came alive when I got to Ecobank.
Okay.
As in the commercial banking field.
Yeah.
And I guess Ecobank, because it was a startup, one could grow with it.
Yeah.
And there I made a conscious decision that I should ultimately, given the chance, run the institution.
At what point did you make that decision?
I made that point immediately I entered the bank.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it came to pass.
It came to pass. Okay? And that is where I made deliberate choices. After running the corporate bank, we were offered the choice that the bank is going to start a risk management department. Who would want to
move
from this glamorous area of a corporate bank and all that to the back role of risk management? And I raised my hand. I said, I'll do it. I mean, others thought there was something wrong with me because in the corporate bank, you tend to build a lot of network, but I thought that I needed that knowledge in risk management to be able to actually get on to what I want to do. Because risk management offers you the chance to deal with all facets of the bank.
I agree.
Yes.
Because actually banking is about risk management wrapped in some products and customer centricity.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So that is where I started making that choice. And that is what propelled me, actually, into what I became, ultimately.
That's interesting. Deliberate and intentional choice.
Yes. And when the offer also came to be a regional director, I thought that this also made sense because I'll have this is a Pan-African institution.
Yes.
So the more you know about other countries, the better for you, you're positioned. So my first step was, okay, move out. because I didn't stay in Ghana as a managing director for long. Yes.
And that was a deliberate choice.
Yes. I was a DMD for 1 year. I moved on to become the managing director. Third year, I moved out.
So you didn't rest in your comfort zone?
No, not at all. I moved out to the West Africa region, excluding Nigeria. I had the chance to open 2 new subsidiaries. I had never done that before in my life.
Yeah.
Open Sierra Leone, go to a country, look for the license, then start building. So you deal with political authorities, you deal with the regulator. Okay, I had the opportunity to do that in 2 countries, albeit small, but it was a good beginning. And I had the chance to also manage the other ones, Liberia, which was there already, Guinea-Conakry, and Ghana.
Okay.
Still doing that, I was offered the opportunity to go to East first, then South. And whatever you see there, I had a hand in it, working with the team, but being the leader.
Excellent. So at what point did you realize the importance of the relevant side of things, being relevant, and also having the appropriate, if you like, certifications and qualifications to go with what you were doing?
Yes, I always thought, and I still think, that it's good for one to go for superior degrees, the masters. These days, bankers are even going for doctorate. But I think that it's just a foundational phase.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily confer on you that relevance that you will need to move ahead. I think getting those certificates, academic certificates, if you can call them that way, for me is the poster. Perhaps it will enable you walk through the door.
Yeah.
But whatever you become is different. And that is what I would call relevance.
Yeah.
Okay. And relevance comes by continuous professional development. It should be deliberate. Okay? Having access courses. I benefited from.
So I was going to explore that. So what were some of the access courses, things that you latched onto?
The bank was, I pushed for, but the bank was also very generous with me because I went to Citibank School of Banking, then at Long Island, to go through different models of credit risk management. So that really will prepare me well for being the country risk manager.
Sure.
Okay. New York School of Finance. You learn investment banking. I went to a lot of leadership programs. Harvard for strategy. Okay. I did this school.
Essien?
The school in France.
Essien.
Essien.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to do a modular one in Fontainebleau, France, and in Singapore. Okay, and there were a lot like that.
And the bank supported?
Yes, the bank supported me. Apart from the bank support, I also tried to engineer myself attending certain conferences. Because relevance means also exposure.
Yeah.
You need to have the exposure, and exposure makes a world of difference.
I agree.
And that's why I wanted to do my master's out. Because for most of the time, the things that are taught over there, you will feel it, you will see it.
Yeah.
Networking is key. Networking is very key. You get that from international conferences.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's important. Market awareness. You know, the fact that you are local here,
Yeah.
conferences will give you the international flavor. Okay? And through conferences, you tend to hobnob with peers who are on the other side of the world. And you also you get mentors.
Mentors.
Yeah, who may be also at the other side of the world. And I also was an avid reader, so I like to read all these magazines on finance.
I'm trying to make as much note as possible.
My wife will tell me that I never really relaxed. You know, I was not big on films and the rest. Most of the books I read were on finance and the rest. Finance, banking, you know, leadership. So Harvard Business Review, The Economist, the Daily Mail, the Financial Times. There's a lot of self-tuition.
Yeah.
And I used to do that also engaging the young chaps in the banks for shared knowledge. So there is a lot of deliberate learning, and it should be continuous.
Interesting.
Continuous professional development.
You know,
That's what makes you relevant.
I agree. So I've heard maybe about 3 or 4 E's in your conversation. One is education, continuous learning. You can put that under education, right? Then you talked about, of course, the exposure, conferences and networking.
You know, there was a program, and I think a lot of my colleagues at Ecobank benefited, and some other banks too at that time. There was a program we went to New York called the Best and Brightest, IFESH. It was run by Reverend Sullivan, a Black American philanthropist. That for me was a real eye-opener.
Best and brightest.
Best and Brightest. There were other colleagues of mine who were on that program. For me, it was an eye-opener.
Mm-hmm.
It was about my first time going to the U.S. My first time in New York,
Okay.
the Big Apple.
Big Apple.
Okay? And it was a very good program because
Yeah.
it took you to Washington, D.C. and the others. And exposure is important because you may be reading or watching films here, but then you see it live.
And experience it.
You can experience it. You go to their stock exchange, you visit their banks. You know, so these are some of the things that I think makes you ready for that big time leadership in the corporate world.
So that's insightful. I'm now looking at this from a leader's perspective. I mean, of course, you've been a leader for most part of your life. So when you are making a hiring decision or trying to get people from a pool of, you know, what do you look out for, you know?
You know, I started hiring. I never had a master's, okay, so I was fixated on that, and I started hiring those who have read masters out of the university in Ecobank.
Okay.
Okay, and I realized that one of the biggest attributes that you want from these young chaps is character.
It's character.
It's character. I got to know, and that's even what made me more having the belief that having the qualification in its own doesn't grant relevance. Because when they come, they need to be molded. However, if you hire for character, then it means that you can mold that person.
Sure.
So, with all my hiring, especially for the young ones, for me, character was important. Is the person disciplined? Has he got that trait?
Yeah.
Do you find somebody who has integrity? Do you think that this person would have that ability for continuous learning? That's hard work. That's hard work.
Yeah.
Okay, so you look for character. And once the person has character, you can mold the person to be a very good leader. And there are examples, I don't want to mention names,
Sure.
but the examples of people who I engaged with, who became leaders and are still leaders.
That's interesting. You've touched on something which I'd like to explore, particularly on hiring people with a certain qualification, but looking for character. I get a sense that maybe we have over qualification and skilled workers, if you like, people who need a bit more or a lot more than just the qualification. I would like to explore your thoughts on that. But those who are joining us, members, fellows, students, we are having a conversation with Albert Essien, former group CEO of Ecobank, and he's sharing some very insightful thoughts with us, particularly around character, around his personal values and the things that he's done, not just in Ghana, but across the African region and beyond. And so if you're joining us, this program, Thought Leadership Program, organized by Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana for members. And so this qualifies for your CPD, but also for those who are not members, you should benefit from the insights and wisdoms from Albert. Albert, do we have a population of overeducated, overqualified people who can't perform in terms of the skills and competencies when the realities, are faced? Or I'm maybe oversimplifying this.
Well, let me put it this way. People get frustrated when they go and do, say, a master's degree.
Yeah.
They come back to the organizations, and here I know more of the banks. They come back to the bank, and they are not seen in that light in terms of a bump in grade, or they expect that, we've been to the university, we've done this, perhaps we should be on a certain grade or something. So they get frustrated. But the fact of the matter is, we have a lot of people who are qualified but are not competitive.
Can be qualified and not be competitive.
Yeah, they're not competitive.
Right.
Okay? Which means that one could easily say they are qualified but not relevant. Okay, not relevant. They don't have what I call current capacity for the job that they want or for the rank that they believe they should have gotten into. They don't have that market awareness. Okay? And they can't perform at that higher level that they think. It's because they have not deliberately built their skills to perform at that high level. So a mere university degree, okay, even a doctorate. These days I've seen a lot of young men and women within the banking system doing their doctorate. Okay, it's good. I'm not saying it's not, but that alone will not put you into the bracket that you think. I can't see you being a good relationship officer without knowing the skills of treasury, credit risk management, and those other type of different departments. within the banking industry. You can't be a top-level operations person today without knowing what digital automation and all those things will bring to you. And normally you will not read that in a master's program. Yes.
True.
So you will come and you will need to learn. You need to acquire those skills. It should be a deliberate effort to acquire those skills. Okay? The masters have opened the door for you.
Yep.
You come in, you now need to skill up to get the positions that you are thinking about. So that is it. So people come in and they are not that competitive.
Interesting. So the qualification, whether masters or others, is kind of cease to be an advantage beyond a certain point.
It is. It's a foundational thing.
Sure.
So you see that as the foundation on which you should build the necessary skills to be relevant to the institution. Because, you know, you come in with the masters, fine. Banking is different and banking is changing. It's really changing. Okay? It's no longer that general ledger sort of thing again. So you need to learn what is in vogue now. Unfortunately, you won't get that in most universities. You won't. There are access programs that you learn from, and you should be deliberate about it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I believe that's why the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, we are keen to make sure that people have the relevant skills, but more tailored to what they do on a daily basis.
Exactly.
I think it will be great. Let me publicly announce that you are part of our faculty on the executive or the Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership Program. Yep. And thank you for doing that for us. I was going to find out from you, and you touched on something in terms of the industry that we work in, keeps evolving. I'm sure you've seen banking from the ledger days to the spreadsheets to the waste. Where are we? Where are we now?
We are in great automation.
And what's the future looking like?
I think the future, we need to learn how AI, okay, artificial intelligence will change the banking system. Okay? You know, I tend to be on the board of a company that uses algorithms and all these things to aid lending. Okay? And I think that it's getting more and more automated. And people need to learn those skills. Okay, that will enable us match up with what is changing. Banking will basically be what it is. Take somebody's money, keep some, use some for investment or lending and the rest. But the mode of delivery, it's exactly what is changing. And that is what we all should be alive to and make sure that we learn and understand the new ways of or modes of delivery of what we used to do very manual. Yes.
It's interesting you've said that because I saw a quote that was attributed to Bill Gates that in 1994 he said, banking will be essential, but banks and bankers may not be.
That is what. I don't fully agree with him. I think banks and bankers will be there. But I think what he wanted to say is that the mode of delivery would change. And that is what we are seeing. Okay, we see more automation, more digitized modes of doing things, and that is what we all should learn. Old as I am, I'm alive. I try to follow. I try not perhaps at the same pace as the young, but clearly one has to learn if you want to be relevant in the banking system. Then you need to be deliberate about it. A mere MBA, a mere MSc, or a PhD might not get you to where you want to find yourself.
It's interesting you've said that, because someone said to me, we are in a period of high perishability of knowledge. So what you knew yesterday gets dated very quickly.
You know, my father told me years ago about that yeah, you are finishing your first degree. I want to let you know that in 2-3 years' time, it will be outmoded. That is not what will move you in life. Which means that you should continue pushing yourself. You should continue pushing yourself. And actually, that put me in good stead. Because once I was not able to go and read my master's out, and I always believed that, for some reason, I believe that I have to go out because of exposure.
Yes.
Okay, I have to go out. Once I could not, then the next thing was, how do you do it?
Yeah.
And it's through this access course, which found me in some of these good places like Harvard, Essien, and all the rest. Okay, Citibank School of Banking, New York Institute of Finance. Okay, to do what perhaps I would have filled in the master's space, but this one, a bit more practical.
Sure.
Okay, and straight to the point. And that put me in good stead.
Thank you, Albert. I'll come back and find out your views on the professional qualification, relevance of it. I hear you say continuing professional development is important.
Yes.
For those who are online joining us, if there's a question you'd like to ask Albert, this is the opportunity for you to ask. I will read it out to Albert. I'm sure you have some very, very insightful responses. Once again, you have joined the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana Thought Leadership event, a conversation with Albert, specifically on the topic, bridging the gap between qualification and relevance. Albert, once again, thank you very, very much. Your thoughts on professional development. I know you've mentioned that professional qualification, maybe the way you see the institute and what else we must do, because we've just come out from some banking sector crisis.
Yeah.
Certainly, you've touched on character, which is like the ethics. You know, are there things that we should pay attention to? You know?
I think we should learn from the crisis.
We should learn from the crisis.
Yeah, we should learn from the crisis. I don't think, I'm not saying we should flag it, but clearly we should take some themes from what happened and how we could do it better.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest downsides for our banks here is risk management, and especially credit risk. Okay?
Yeah.
That has a combination of learning the theory, but also building the character. Yes, learning the theory,
Also building the
but
character.
also building the character of people. So it's one of the biggest learnings. And it keeps on being with us. I'm told that the MPLs of banks is fairly high.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Sadly,
Yes.
it's still in the region of the 20s.
Yes, and we should ask ourselves why.
So, is that a character issue? Is that a competence issue?
I think
is it a conduct
it's
issue?
a combination of all of them. It's a combination of all of them. But how do we treat it? How do we eradicate it? Or how do we minimize it? That is something the Institute should think about.
Sure.
And perhaps the Institute should get together people to think through it.
Yeah.
And perhaps out of which you come up with a program. I know CIBIL is good, but this should be more targeted to the mid-level.
Yeah.
Because it's something that people should learn before they move up. But that is the biggest challenge for me from the banking system.
Which is risk management and
It's
credit risk management in particular.
Yeah. Okay, credit risk management.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because the banking crisis, you could see that it came from there. And it's not gone. It's a behavioral thing and also something that comes with the theory too.
Yeah. So the theory and the practice, but the behavioral side,
Yeah.
we need to watch that.
Character,
Character.
it's important.
Wow. So I'll come to explore what you are doing 11 years after living active in service. And I'm sure you are helping the industry. I know at the Institute you help on the Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership side, which is really building the next generation of leaders and putting that character and ethics at the center of what they do. But I'm sure you do a lot more helping maybe governments and other institutions. So I'll come to explore some of the things that we should all aspire to beyond 9 to 5, if you like, when we go on retirement. So to those who have joined us online, this evening we are having a conversation again with Albert Essien, former Group CEO of Ecobank. And Albert has done many things. He's sharing with us the personal values that guided him, the discipline, the character, the things that he learned from his dad, but also the journey and the emphasis on continuous professional development and learning, and the exposure and having the current capacity, and that the qualification alone it just sees you through the door. What you do inside the room is even more crucial, which is where relevance comes in, right? I'm sure there must be some questions online. I'm just going to, there's a question for you, Albert. Is there hope for young professionals?
That what?
Is there hope? So this is a question from someone who has joined us. Is there hope for young professionals in the banking sector for opportunities to gather experience on the job? So I see this is someone asking for young professionals who are yet to even come into the industry.
There's a lot of hope. And it all comes with what I said. That person needs to scale up. Okay? And, you know, when I was young, I also had mentors.
You had mentors.
Yes, I had mentors.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of peer engagement. Okay? So I had mentors. I was looking up to some elderly people. I won't mention their names.
Yeah.
But they were very influential in my life. Okay? You go to them, you talk to them about issues. Okay? They were a broad spectrum of people because I was preparing myself to be a leader.
Sure.
So it's not just being a banker but a leader. I wanted to. And also I had peers. And apart from peers, I also had subordinates who I engaged with. So it's important to build that network.
Network, yeah.
So for that person, that network is important. You learn from that network. So I call positive engagement with people. And you know, in the bank, I used to go around randomly to friends. And I'll ask them, what are you doing? Okay? So I didn't limit myself to where I found myself. But I was really inquisitive.
Learning by management, working about and getting sense from
Even as managing director, I will ask, why do you have to do that? what are you doing? You know, explain. So I learned that way. I learned that way. I was quite inquisitive. Okay? I asked questions. So it's a two-way affair.
Yeah.
So there's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope.
Glad to hear that there's hope.
Yeah, there's hope.
There's a second question
But
for
he
you.
needs to apply himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. He needs to learn. Yeah. He needs to learn. Yeah.
Sure. There's a second question on your advice on balancing work with studies, because the banking industry is a high-pressured kind of work.
Yes.
So how do you balance
tell
that?
you-
And I'm sure if you stretch that for our female audience, for example, they will say balancing work with studies, but with family and all that.
Yeah, but-
It would be good to
Okay.
hear your thoughts.
Well, my wife was also a banker.
Interesting.
And
So you had two bankers at home.
Yeah, so you could imagine. She moved on to read a master's in her fairly old age before she retired. But it shows that you should make room. And that brings about the discipline.
Yeah.
Because where perhaps you put the children to sleep and you think you have to sleep, you either have to do some reading or you have to get up early to do some reading before you prepare the children for school. And I used to tell everybody, funny as it is, that whenever I went into the bathroom
Yeah.
to sit on that thing,
Yeah.
that is when I read a lot.
As in your library was in the bathroom, the
My
washroom.
library was in the washroom. So in my house, we can't have one washroom. Because Albert Essien can sit on that thing for an hour or 2 hours just reading hard stuff. Okay, reading. So you need to create space. You need to create space. Yes, and that is where the discipline comes. Because we all have what we use our time for.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, some may want to say they are unwinding, so they are watching television or something. Okay? But then you think that I'll read a chapter or two
Yeah.
in this book, Risk Management, before I sleep.
Interesting. So,
But these days, people still go to school
yeah.
despite the heavy schedule. That is what you need to do. It's all about discipline. I think it's all about time management.
You're right. And you see, COVID has also left us a legacy, which is before COVID, we didn't do a lot on digital the way we do it today.
Yeah.
So now you can
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
so for example, Chartered Institute of Bankers, all our programs, particularly the tuition and tuitions are
online.
and in the evenings or weekends. you know.
Yes.
So that gives some flexibility
Exactly.
as well. But there's someone who asks the question whether you have work-life balance.
Well, that's a challenge. So I will raise my hand.
Okay.
That's a challenge.
That's a challenge.
Work-life balance has been a challenge to me, and you know, I will say this: I had a wife that covered my back.
Sure.
Yes, she really took care of the house. Because you know, at a point, since from 2007, I left the shores of Ghana. My family didn't move with me to Nairobi and to South Africa. They were here.
Okay.
Okay? Once I left here, even when I was here, I started traveling a fair bit, about 2005 thereabout, with all these countries. But when I moved out, I went to East Africa, Kenya, I went to South Africa,
Yeah.
okay, Joburg, they were not with me. And I really worked myself flat. When I moved into products, corporate bank head for the group, investment bank head for the group, it was worse. I was traveling because we were building the international business.
Yeah.
Okay? So work-life balance, I'll say that I didn't have it.
I think
didn't have it.
at this stage, it's just fair that we pay tribute to Mrs. Essien and thank her publicly for
Yeah, I think
for
she
having
did.
your back.
Yeah,
you know.
she covered me. Okay, so those things are also important.
Sure.
Because you could then do all these, but lose your children. Okay, but what I did ultimately was once a year, okay, I think starting from 2005 or earlier, perhaps late 90s, we started having family vacation.
Family vacations.
Yes. But even there, whenever I go, I'll have to set up my laptop. And sometimes we are on the vacation and I have to leave them. Okay, but I tried to have some quality time. But I don't think that that balance is what perhaps I thought I should have. But you know, life is full of choices, Robert.
Yeah. So
Life is full of choices. And sometimes, if you want a certain lifestyle for your family,
yeah.
then
You choose
there are
that.
certain sacrifices that you should make. And
Yeah.
they may not understand. I think my children came to understand me,
Yeah.
okay? But that is what it is. Well, I should say that I had a wife that was very supportive. And yeah.
That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I see questions regarding how do you. There's a lot of targets to be achieved in the banking sector,
Yeah.
and it's quite a lot of pressure.
It is.
So balancing that is tough for most people. I also see people saying this is a great conversation. Thank you for sharing the insights with us. Character, very, very important. How will the Institute actively leverage its influence with banks and regulators to improve job security, fair remuneration, career progression for chartered bankers who remain on contract? I think it's a bad image for the Institute to have chartered bankers who are contract staff. I think that's a comment and a suggestion. I'm not sure if you have some thoughts on that.
Today,
Yeah.
Development Bank and I were talking about this issue of contract. Let me just digress. And
Sure.
I told them I don't like it. In Ecobank, during my time, there was a very good HR lady. And we took a decision that on a yearly basis, we would try and convert very good workers from contract to permanent. It's sad to have people on permanent contracts. It's something that perhaps you may have to take it up with the Ghana Bankers Association, if the MDs can find a way. I know that some do that to manage their costs, but are we building expertise? Okay. Because people who are on contract are treated a bit differently. Okay, and I'm just wondering. Yeah, during my time it was there, but I tried to convert quite a number to permanent. Okay. It's something that perhaps you can pick up on a side conversation. Okay, and see how best can be handled.
Yeah.
I do empathize with the banks, cost considerations, but we're also dealing with human beings.
It's interesting you've said that. I was speaking with a very senior regulator some time back, and the person's view was that the fraud levels that we see in the banking sector, particularly if you look at the Bank of Ghana
it's
report,
part of the problem.
There's a connection and a relationship.
There is, because being contract, there are certain perks they don't enjoy. They don't have access to the support systems that a permanent employee. So they are susceptible, okay? They tend to. I'm not saying they are the only people who commit fraud, but the tendency, because they don't get that support systems that you think about. So I don't know whether we've really done the work to prove it statistically, but I think that there could be a link.
So we've noted that. I think our time has run out for today's session, but Albert, it would be great to hear what you're doing beyond active service. And I know you're still very, supportive, and you're doing, maybe sitting on boards and doing many other things.
Yes, I used to, when I retired, initially, I did some consultancy with McKinsey especially. Right. I did some with some of the banks in Ghana. I don't want to mention names. But I've now moved more into boards. Governance. Strategic level, you know. And I am on some international boards and some boards in country. Okay, I'm 70 now.
You don't look 70.
Yes, I hope that at 80 I will downsize. The level of activity. But yes, I'm quite busy. I'm quite busy.
I see.
But I do what, like I said,
you like
I
to
do what I love to do.
You choose what you want.
Yeah, I choose what I want to do, and I am not compelled. You know, in the corporate world, you can be compelled to do things that perhaps at a point in time you don't think you want to do, but you have to do. But now I do it. If I want it, yes. If I don't, I politely say that I won't do it.
I must be very, very privileged to have you sit here with us today, because that must be a lot of sacrifice.
I think I'm privileged.
Yeah, extremely.
To be talking to an audience, albeit virtual.
Maybe next time we'll make it in person.
We can do that.
Have some conference conversations.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Is there one leadership lesson, or maybe you like to leave for those who are listening to us?
Well, I would tell them to be focused.
Focus.
Because focus is important in life. They should be disciplined. When you're focused, you'll be disciplined. Okay? They should have integrity. And they should be humble. They should be humble. You know, after all that you do, you become yourself. Right now, I'm Albert Essien.
You've said that before, right?
Yes. In the past, you have all those accolades, CEO, group CEO. What is it? They are titles that you leave as you move on. And people will recognize you as Albert Essien. I think humility is important.
So discipline,
focus,
discipline, integrity,
and humility. It's important.
And that there is Albert Essien, the Albert Essien, different from the group CEO.
Yes,
and
I'm no longer the group CEO.
Absolutely, but you're still.
But I don't want to be referred to as ex-group CEO. I'm Albert Essien.
And there's only one.
There's only one Albert Essien.
Thank you very much.
Good.
I'm extremely grateful. Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you.
Good speaking with you. We'll do this again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
Good evening. So, members, fellows, students, members of the Institute, this is where we draw the curtains down on today's conversation with Albert Essien, and his Albert Essien, on bridging the gap between qualification and relevance. And he shared some very, very insightful thoughts with us. My job is not to summarize them. I think you've listened to him. And so let's leverage same. Certainly Albert is still around, and we'll have this conversation again in the future. Please look forward to our next conversation, particularly on the CEO series from Charter Institute of Bankers Ghana. Have a great, great evening. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Did you know 90% of global investors prioritize ESG principles? Ghana is contributing to the global ESG transformation with an ESG certification.
The environmental, social, and governance certification was created specifically for the banking and financial services sector.
We are able to train the participants to be able to identify what the risks are in their operations, how those risks can be mitigated, and then also know the opportunities in what they do.
Having gone through this 10 weeks program, it has revealed a whole lot to me. Risks that's already sit with us. I would say that we're more like undercover, but the veil was lifted.
This has been an interesting program for me, and I think the program threw more light and shed more, gave a more understanding on how to apply those GRI standards within our reporting framework. So I think that was one of the useful tools for me.
It's an important time to roll out an ESG certification to equip professionals in the industry, because the banking sector plays a catalytic role in the ESG or the environmental climate-related issues. And as a country, we face quite a number, particularly if you look at it from galamsey and the destruction of our water bodies.
By the end of this program, we would want the participants to be able to know how to mitigate what the environmental issues are, what the social issues are, and what the governance issues are in their operations as bankers or as businesses, and also the operations of their clients.
Ever since I finished, it's like a prompt. Anytime I'm going to make a decision, I just think about ESG. It's okay, is this compliant? Am I hurting the environment? Am I hurting other people within the ecosystem?
Learning from here and what the IFC as a DFI, for example, the expectations are, put me in a better position in terms of understanding how I can also position the bank to better deliver on the expectation of DFI.
If you want your business to live beyond this generation, you must embrace ESG. You could meet all the financial goals and your business will still not be sustainable. The environmental risks, social risks, and governance risks alone could collapse your business.
It broadened my knowledge, and also the networking opportunity was also great. It gave me insight into what the expectations of other industries are.
I'm proud to be part of the first cohort, and the learnings are enormous. It's a must attend for everyone who truly wants to see his business grow beyond this generation.
We encourage more professionals to come on board, because this program has been a hands-on, real-life experience.
Our Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana mandate is very simple, which is developing trusted professionals. We are moving from awareness to understanding and ultimately extracting value. And I'm really excited and looking forward to you joining the next cohort.
Shape your future, build a sustainable world. Enroll in the ESG certification program today. This program is developed by FCIB Ghana and the EPA in collaboration with IFC and funded by SECO.